we're going to be talking about significant wood design and construction changes related to the 2018 IBC and 2018 NDS. The course description is shown here, and then we will be starting off with the IBC, and then we'll progress to the NDS, and we'll follow the progression of the chapters through both IBC and NDS. We're going to highlight the significant changes and not get into every single change that occurs related to wood construction. And starting off with the International Building Code, these are some of the significant changes related to wood construction. One being the exterior balconies, another being the fire retardant treated wood, and heavy timber construction related to mass timber, and then construction type. And we'll progress through. Mass timber, I should give you some background on that. Mass timber is not defined in the current IBC code. It will be, however, if passed, under the 2021 code, be defined within there. And we'll talk about that more later in the presentation on what's currently going on in the industry. So more to come. For a historical look at what's going on with the NDS, unfortunately, the dates on the right-hand column are a little bit misaligned, but you can see the current edition under the 2015 IBC is the 2015 NDS. Now under the 2012 IBC, we have 2018 IBC. I'm sorry, this is a little bit misaligned, but here's the 2015 NDS, which is under the 2015 IBC, and then we have the 2018 NDS. Now note that even though we have some changes to the 2018 NDS, we still are using the 2015 wind and seismic provisions. We have some historical information under the American Wood Council on previous editions, so we're a good resource if you want some information related to previous editions of the NDS. And the one thing that I wanted to point out is that this is the development of the NDS and the wind and seismic provisions and the wood frame construction manual all go through an ANSI accredited process. AWC is the ANSI accredited standards developer for these standards. In fact, I was in Dulles, Virginia, or Leesburg, Virginia last week, where the committees met to discuss some of the significant changes coming up in the 2021 version of the wind and seismic provisions. And I'll touch on that later in the presentation on what may be occurring in the future edition of the wind and seismic provision. So just to look at, looking back at different changes that may occur throughout the IBC. This is at the beginning of the International Building Code. That is a really helpful table to look at to remind us what the different meanings are for some of the notations in the code. Now for where there is a deletion in a section of a code, we have an arrow, which is shown here. And then we have in the margin of the code also a single asterisk or a double asterisk. A single asterisk is put in the margin to indicate that a section of text or table has been relocated to another area of the code. And then a double asterisk indicates that a section that's shown below has been relocated from another area. Now this shows you some of the significant changes that have occurred in the 2018 IBC. And some of this, or actually a lot of this, has to do with wood construction, having to do with fire resistance of wood construction and projections, and then in Chapter 23 related to general construction requirements for wood. And we'll go over some of those in the following of the presentation. So first off, in definitions, it's just been a modification related to conventional light frame construction and light frame construction, the actual definitions. Where in the previous version, it used to say that the light frame construction or conventional frame construction was a method of construction. Well, we're not really defining a method of construction, we're just defining a type of construction. So they've struck out a method of construction, and it just says construction whose primary structural elements, et cetera, or construction whose vertical and horizontal structural elements are primarily formed of a system of light frame or repetitive wood or steel or light frame wood construction.